time to talk to the undefeated head coach of the New England Patriots. Jerod, you've had some time to process it now. What did that first win as head coach mean to you personally?
It means a lot. It meant a lot, and when the players gave me the Gatorade bath, I was so excited. And in saying that, ready to move on to the next game.
You were upset about the shoes. Now, did those shoes have personal meaning? I mean, you could buy another pair of shoes. Well,
Nike sent them to me, as a gift, and I liked them. And they got a little sticky. But the equipment team, they said they'll get it right for me.
So, got to see Mr. Kraft, RKK, in the locker room, give you the game ball. How special was that, RKK, and what you've been through?
It was very special. But the Patriot Hall of Fame took my hat and my shirt, so they put it in there.
They'll take anything.
They'll take anything. But
they even have one of mine up there, believe it or not.
Honestly, I'm just so appreciative of just the opportunity, and to win the first game was huge. But appreciative to Robert and to Jonathan for allowing Elliot and myself to really run football down here, and I think we're building something special.
I'm sure you've gotten game balls in the past as a player when you've been a captain here. What's your philosophy as head coach? Do you give game balls out? I'm not asking you to who, but
yeah, we give game balls out.
Okay.
I think it's important. Just like as I talked about, the captain's patch is important. And that's what we'll do.
All right, we had some big plays. Let's go do the play of the game over
talk
here.
A little ball.
Talk something new here.
All right.
Biggest play that maybe affected the game. As I'm calling the game, you guys come out for that second half. You have a 3-and-out.
Yep.
But then you punt the ball, and here's the Joe Cardona hit. Why don't you walk us through the play of the game?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we got a 10-year vet, and realistically, he's probably the worst athlete on the field. So now we just tell him to go to the ball. This guy is a good hey, just go to the ball. And you can see as he's tracking, look, all these guys running past him. He kind of gets lost in the sauce. But he goes down there, does a good job, and we call this right here, what he's doing right here, coming to balance.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, so back in the day, a lot of coaches would say break down, but when you would say break down, they would just stop their feet. And so now he's coming to balance, under control. He can see the ball carrier. He can see that really the field is cut off here, right? So it goes to the ball, and we talk about biting the ball. So he puts his face mask right on the ball. Perfect picture. His eyes are up. Ball comes out, and when you talk about special teams and hidden yardage, it's huge. But this right here is a huge play, a takeaway that puts our offense already really in scoring distance.
And they're feeling pretty good. Got you guys off the field in the 3-and-out. Now all of a sudden we give them the ball to pass 24.
Absolutely.
All right. Sounds good.
Hey,
this is conditioning right here, man. We're not going to sit down and do all the interviews like this.
I'm sure you'll get tired before.
Make you work a little bit here. This is good. So earlier in the week, you talked about conditioning. You were watching some of the other games to start the season, and you noticed some of these guys are tired. One thing I noticed about you guys being at camp, your practices were long. Yeah. Not a lot of hitting because you can only do so much hitting, but the mental portion of it, and then you guys go to the hill. How important was your team to be conditioned? Because Cincinnati looked tired to me.
Yeah, very important. And look, I was so happy for the guys, and sometimes you hear a little grumbling when you have those long practices, and then you say, all right, let's go to the hill. But in the fourth quarter, I heard a lot of the players take them to the hill, and that really stuck with me. And to me, it's like taking a team into the deep water and really just finishing the game.
You got to get the T-shirts printed. If they're believing in it, give them T-shirts now. Like, hey, we got something here. Tackling. Obviously, you can't practice a ton of tackling. But what was impressive, secondary guys coming up. The hit Jonathan Jones had on that 4th and 2. How hard is it to not only talk about tackling, but teach it? And you guys were on spot with that.
Yeah, it's not very hard. I would say, like, going to the ground is one element of it, but just the entry angle, the where are my eyes, how do I wrap up, all those things, all of those are things that we practice every single day.
You come back, you look at the film. I know you kicked a couple field goals, 16 points. You win the game 16-10, but you can't do that every week, right? You got to be able to score points in this league.
That's right, and that was my message to the team, not only offensively, but just in all three phases. We won the game, but there were so many plays that we left out there, and I'm looking for progress this week against Seattle.
You look at Seattle on tape. They got a quarterback that's bounced around, sort of found his home now with Geno Smith. What's the challenges with Seattle?
I'll start with the running back. Look, Geno's going to touch the ball, every play, but Kenneth, this guy runs very hard. He's one of the best backs in the league, and he doesn't get a lot of hype, at least, over here on the East Coast. But man, this guy is a load. And then when you talk about the receivers with Metcalf and Lockett and all those guys, I mean, they have weapons all over the place. We got to do a good job there. And then I would say defensively, they run, they do so many different things, the disguises and things like that. And we just got to make sure we do a good job with our post-snap reads. And special teams, we got to win on special teams.
Okay, and special teams look great out of the gate. All right, it's time now for Ask Me Anything. And Jerod, tons of questions coming in. This is from mmsouza@gmail. I actually put his whole Gmail address in here if you want to send him some emails. Aspects that you took as a player and adapted them to be a good head coach. What are some of those that you carried over?
Well, I think, one of the signs around the building is hard work works. And I truly believe that you can outwork 90% of the people, no matter what industry or sport you play. It's the 10% that, look, they're just better than you. But I'll take the 90 and just working hard in all elements of my life.
All right, if you want to ask the coach a question, you could do it by going to patriots.com/askthecoach. We'll be back later in the show because we do have a side of Mayo coming up. He's not going anywhere, but more of All Access right after this.